Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to talk about something that sits at this really fascinating intersection of two totally different worlds. You've got the unpredictable, high-stakes creativity of filmmaking on one side and the cold, hard numbers of the stock market on the other. We're going to see how one company dared to put a price on imagination. So it really comes down to this big question, right? Can something as subjective as a story, the art of capturing emotion on screen, be packaged up, priced, and traded just like shares in a tech company? Can investors really place a bet on a blockbuster before a single ticket is even sold?
Well, back in 2018, one film studio over in Indonesia went ahead and did exactly that. They took the leap, building a bridge between the creative floor and the trading floor, and proved that, yeah, it was possible.
Okay, let's dive right into the moment this all went down. We're talking about MD Pictures, the film division of MD Entertainment, as it got ready to step onto a completely new kind of stage, the stock exchange. This day, August 7th, 2018, it marked a huge shift for the entire Indonesian film industry. I mean, think about it. Before this, no film studio had ever been a publicly traded company. This was completely uncharted territory. It was treating creative work not just as art, but as a formal, investable asset. So how they do it? They put out over 1.3 billion shares to the public. And the price for a piece of this cinematic dream? They kept it super accessible at 210 rupiah a share. This meant pretty much anyone could get in on it and invest in the movies. And wow, did the public respond. The whole move raised this massive war chest of nearly 275 billion rupiah. Now, that's not just cash in the bank. That's basically rocket fuel for all their creative plans. But honestly, the money they raised, that was only half the story. You see, the market's reaction, it wasn't just good, it was absolutely electric. The IPO price was set at 210 rupiah, right? But the second the market opened, boom, investor demand was so intense that the price just shot right up. In fact, it surged by almost 50% on its first day of trading. The jump was so huge, so fast, that it triggered what's called an automatic trading halt. That's a circuit breaker the exchange uses to kind of cool things down when they get too wild. The demand was just, well, it was off the charts.
And the guy behind this whole bold move, President-Director Manoj Punjabi, he put it perfectly. He didn't just see this as a win for his company. No, for him, this was a massive turning point that could lift up the entire creative economy of the country.
But, to really get why this IPO was such a big deal, we gotta look at the bigger picture. This was never just about raising money. It was about earning respect, earning legitimacy, and basically rewriting the rulebook for a whole industry. And here's the key shift right here. What MD Pictures did fundamentally changed how the financial world saw filmmaking in Indonesia. It took the industry from being seen as this, informal, super high-risk gamble and turned it into a professionally run, totally transparent corporate powerhouse that serious investors could actually get behind. See, when you become a public company, it forces you to be open. It's not a choice. You have to play by the rules, be financially disciplined, be transparent. And by leaning into that, MD Pictures didn't just build trust for themselves. They made the case that the entire film sector could be a stable, reliable place to invest. And of course, a change this huge doesn't just happen by accident. It was all driven by the vision of one person who dared to connect these two very, very different worlds. So, Manoj Punjabi, he wasn't just some producer who knew how to make a hit movie. He was a real strategist. He saw this incredible, untapped power in mixing creative art with modern finance. He got that for Indonesian stories to really go global, the creativity needed the muscle and structure of a serious corporation.
And this timeline here, it really lays out the long game he was playing. This wasn't just a series of lucky breaks. From completely owning the TV space in 2002 to that historic IPO in 2018, and then attracting a huge investment from a global tech giant like Tencent, every single one of those was a calculated step to grow from a local hero into a global contender.
All right, so what's the lasting impact of all this? Let's break down how this one single corporate move created a whole new blueprint, not just for MD Pictures, but maybe for the whole creative industry. That IPO money wasn't just stashed away in a bank account. No, it was put to work right away.
And this was all about building a protective moat around their business. They were funding ambitious new movies, locking down top-tier talent with exclusive deals, protecting their super valuable intellectual property, and even jumping into new areas like animation. Every single dollar was like a seed being planted for future success.
This was the big move that took the company to what Manoj Punjabi himself called Level 2. It was the final piece of the puzzle, really. It transformed them from just being a company that made great content into a modern, structured corporation that operates on global standards of management and finance. And what this all did, ultimately, was create a model that others could follow. It legitimized the entire national film industry by laying out this clear four-step path. You create hits, you build a professional company, you get public investment, and then you attract global partners. It showed everyone else how it could be done.
So in the end, by taking this massive leap of faith, MD Pictures proved that creativity is a bankable, investable asset. And that just leaves us with this really exciting question for the future, doesn't it? If film can conquer the stock market, what's next? Music? Gaming? What creative frontier is going to be the next one to merge with the world of high finance?